Do you guys want to learn more about Rooms 2.0, how to set up offers and inventory and get them up and running in your room? Well, that's awesome because that's exactly what we're about to do. But before I get into the video, don't forget, if you find these tutorials helpful, go ahead, click on my profile and hit support. It really does help out my channel, and I'll continue to do more tutorials. To start off, we're just going to take out our maker pen and spawn in some sort of gun. For the sake of this tutorial, we're going to pretend the gun is a shovel. But I know, yes, it is not a shovel. So let's, we'll do the paint burst gun. Spawn that in. And I'm going to configure that gun. And we're going to give this an extra tag. And we'll call it shovel. Yes, I know, very confusing. But yes, this will pretend to be our shovel. And now that we have our shovel that we could grab, let's go over to our this room settings, and you'll notice there's inventory items and offers. Think of inventory items as like the keys or like the consumables that you have in your backpack, and offers are just ways to purchase them. We'll start off with the inventory item, add inventory item, and we'll call this a shovel. And you could either use a custom inventory item image, or we could just take a photo. All right, there we go. Beautiful. All right, that's our shovel. And we'll just give it a quick description, shovel. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And for now, we're not going to do anything else to that. We're just going to hit save. Let's go over to our offers, and we're going to add an offer as well. And this one, again, we're going to take a photo of our gun slash shovel. We'll call this shovel offer, and then we'll just say purchase the shovel. All right, beautiful. What price? I'm going to make this... You could actually have the inventory item be your like currency, but we're not going to get into that today. But I'll just have this for 100 tokens. And offer type, you'll notice there's 3 types. Default, you can purchase it multiple times, but only one item per time you purchase it. You could also have it a one-time purchase. Think of that more as like a key that you're always going to have every time you re-enter the room. And then we have bulk purchase, which means you could buy multiple items of that inventory item. For this purpose, we're going to have it as a one-time purchase, because once you buy that shovel, you're going to have it forever. Then over here, items included, you could select your shovel. And so anytime you purchase the shovel offer, you will receive 1. It gives you the amount shovel. All right, let's go hit save. All right, now we're going to spawn in a few items with our maker pen. Let's go ahead and go over to our palette, and we'll first start by spawning in a storefront. And yes, it's not going to be the prettiest. Okay, there we go. Let's configure it, and we'll just add an item. We're going to add the shovel offer. And so now I could buy the shovel offer if I want to, but I'm not going to buy it yet. We're going to add a few more chips first. Alright, next we're going to go to our circuits, and if you go over to economy, you'll find all of the important inventory and offer items. We're going to spawn a few items. The first one will be room offer constant. The second one will be inventory item constant. So that's our offer, and that's going to be our inventory item. And we're going to say player owns inventory item. We're going to have that over here. We're going to want a purchase prompt. There we go. So we're going to say, okay, if they grab that gun slash shovel, if they don't own it, then we want it to prompt them to perhaps buy it. All right, next we're going to want an if chip. And there we go. We'll just spawn it over there. And we want an unequip, so that way if we don't own it, we're not holding it, that'll unequip it. And we'll just put that over there. We want a rec room object get first with tag. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so we have all of the items that we need to be able to purchase this gun and for that to work smoothly. Let's go ahead and configure the room offer. And you could either create a new one, but we already made one, so we'll just click on the shovel offer. And our inventory item will be the shovel. Alright, so let's connect this up. So we'll say, okay, if a person goes ahead and tries to pick up this gun, we want to see if they own the gun. So let's link that up. When it's complete, we want to say, well, if they own it, nothing happens. If they don't own it, then we want to show a purchase prompt for the shovel offer. Alright, I did take this gun and I just detached the circuit board. If you don't know how to do that, just go ahead, go to configure, and you can change the attachment mode to detached. I think it'll just be easier, honestly. But we want to say, okay, if the purchase prompt went through, that means they don't obviously own it, so we'll want to unequip the item. We could just link the item, or we could just do rec room get first with tag. Let's see if this works. I'm going to try to grab the gun. It shows me the offer. If I don't own it and I didn't buy it, it's going to drop out of my hands, so I still don't own it. I could either buy it one of two ways. I could either click on the store, or I could buy it through the offer that pops up, the purchase prompt. We'll buy it through the store. Buy it. Okay, now we own our beautiful shovel. So I grab it, nothing happens, no purchase prompt, I now own it. If I go into this room inventory, you'll see that I have a shovel over here. So everything seems to be working pretty well. Alright, the next step is we're going to take that shovel, and every time the shovel touches, say, a stick, we'll get some sort of wood that I will just create as another inventory item. And first we have to make our beautiful stick before we do anything. Let's go to create. This one I will do on the grid, or else it'll be pretty sloppy. Again, I'm not going for any Maker Pen awards with this map, so we'll just color it yellow so it's easy to see. And we'll also create a trigger volume. So let's see, trigger volume, and we'll just put that around our beautiful stick / wood. You gotta use some creativity when you're thinking about this video. Just focus on the circuits, please. I'm not a screen builder. Okay, there we go. So we have our volume, we have our beautiful stick, and next up we're going to create a new inventory item. So let's go back to our room settings, and we're going to create an inventory item, and it'll be called wood. I know, I'm very creative. Alright, let's just change the color so I don't get confused. Alright, so we have wood inventory, or maybe I could call it wood stock. Oh gosh, okay, I can make so many jokes about that right now, but I'm not going to. Alright, let's take a picture of it. Beautiful. Alright, save. We're going to spawn in a few chips. Let's go back and we'll get our inventory constant, and we'll spawn that in. We're also going to spawn in, you know what, we'll spawn in some text because it'll be easier to illustrate what I'm doing. if you could actually see the text. All right, so we're gonna keep track of our counter on the text. We'll need a toString, and let's just put that over here. I'm just going to move the text maybe a little bit higher so it's easier to see. All right, there we go. And let's go create an inventory add. Again, you can find this under the economy section, but I kind of just know what I'm looking for already. All right, so we have our items that we need to be able to add the wood inventory into our backpack when we take that gun/shovel and hit it over to this trigger volume area. Now let's just link it up. I think I configured this inventory. No, I did not. Okay, we'll configure it to wood. We're going to connect a few items. We're going to say when an object entered, and we'll specify it in a second. We want to add inventory. So let me just move this trigger volume over. Okay, there we go. When we click on, or when we hit it with the shovel, we're going to want to add an inventory item. In this case, it's going to be wood. And we need one more item. We'll get inventory, get item count, and this will make sense in a little bit, but basically when you join the room after having played, you want it to show the inventory that you have in the text. So yeah, so when you do that, you're gonna want to on complete get the inventory count of the wood. Again, all right, we'll make this a little bit prettier, and we want to take that count, turn it into a string number, in this case 0, because I have not gotten any sticks yet, and we want to set the text. And we'll do that when we get our inventory count. There we go. All right, so let's just make a few other changes. We're going to want to configure the trigger volume. So we want to only enable it when it has been hit with the word shovel, which is what we have over here. It's obviously a shovel. All right, let's see how this works. I'm gonna go ahead, pick this up, bring it. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's working. Now let's go ahead, check out our backpack. So we'll go to room inventory, and as you can see here, we have 1 shovel and we have 3 wood, and yes, you can see the 3 over there as well. So we're making some progress, but let's take it one step further. What do we want to do with this wood? Let's store it somewhere, maybe in a chest of sorts, and then we could empty our backpack and save it in that chest for maybe a future use. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, and now to create our beautiful chest that will be holding our items. Again, it's really not going to be beautiful. We're just going to make it look somewhat like a box. Alright, there we go. Let's clone that. And just make the bottom a little bit longer. I'll do a little bit of recoloring it, and we'll call it a day. So maybe we'll make it a blue box. And we'll make the top white. There we go. Beautiful box. Let's again add another, let's edit out. We'll add another trigger volume. And this will go over our box, so that way if we collect enough wood, then we could save it in here. And to save it, we would just have to like maybe put our hand up to it. Alright, so there we go. We have our trigger volume set up, and I'm just going to move this circuit board over slightly, and we're going to start adding some more chips. Alright, let's start with another inventory get count, and we'll put that here. We'll unlink that later, don't worry. We'll also want an int variable, and we'll just put that right over here. Now that I think about it, I'm just going to move everything over slightly. Next, we're going to do an add button, and we'll say that, you know, every time we go up to this box, we want to add whatever is in our backpack, whatever wood is in our backpack, we want to add it to whatever is in the box that we saved previously. Alright, so let's just add a few more items. We'll add another text, so that way you'll be able to see the number that we have in the box. We'll also add another toString, so that we could see that amount in our text. And let's disconnect. We'll move our text circuit over. Alright, so we're going to start linking this up. Let's go to configure and configure our int variable, and we'll just want it to have wood at the end, so I know exactly what I'm keeping track of. Hit submit. Yes, I always forget to do that. We'll also want to make this a cloud variable, so again, if we come back the next day and we still want to see how much we have in our box, they'll still be available. If you don't hit cloud, then you won't be able to see that amount that you had already earned. So it'll just basically save it for next time. Alright, let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually clone the inventory item over here. Yes, I could link it up, but for tutorial purposes it'll be hard to see. So we'll just bring that over, and we'll say when a player entered, we want to get the inventory of wood. Then when we get the inventory count, we want it to add the amount to the number of wood we already have in the box. And so let's go ahead, take that count. What do we want to add to the count? We want to add what we already have in this box, so we'll link it up here, and the sum of that will be our new value. Alright, so just so we can see this visually as a number, right now you can't see it, but we will connect the string variable over here to our toString. So we want to get the amount of wood in this box, not the wood that we have in our backpack, but we want to get the amount of wood in the box that we took from our backpack. And we'll set the text. And when do we want to set it? We want to set it when we actually remove the inventory from our backpack and put it in the box. Alright, inventory remove item. I knew I was forgetting one chip. Alright, there we go. And we'll say, okay, once we get the new wood amount, we're going to subtract from our inventory the amount that we just put in. So the count that we had. Alright, when that's complete, then we want to set the text and figure out what's in our box. So let me go ahead, and well, I don't even need the gun, or the shovel I should say. If I walk over here, now we have 3 in our box, and if I go to room inventory, you'll notice that the 3 wood that I had in my inventory backpack is now gone, but it's okay because it's being stored in this box, which is a cloud variable that if I come back to the room later, it'll still be in there. But if I take my shovel, and yes, I have another wood inventory item. I don't know why the picture's not showing, but that's okay. So it shows that we have 1 inventory. Maybe we'll take 2. Alright, now we have 2. Go back over to this box. When I touch it, it should be 3 plus the 2 that I just got. And now we have 5. And we have removed that from our backpack. So you can kind of see how to build the system of like being able to collect items and store them for later use. But there's still more, because what happens if we leave the room and come back? These numbers aren't going to show on the text. It's just going to show as a blank number, because it only sets the number when we touch it or when we use our shovel to get the wood. Although now that I think about it, maybe we'll call it an axe. Alright, whatever. Guys, I just realized that. We'll ignore that as well. So yeah, there's just, in order to do that, it's actually a few more circuits. We'll first start with an event receiver, and we'll just put that over here. We want to also add an if player is local chip. So it's only resetting the text for the player that entered. We'll want to configure this to if player joined. There we go. Which player? Then we want to say we want to get the inventory count. Inventory item get count. We'll want two more toStrings, and it'll set the text for each of these strings. We'll put one here, and we'll just clone that one down. Beautiful. Then we'll have to have two set text. There we go, text set text. We'll have one there, and we'll have one after that. And again, each of these strings will link up to our text set text. The first one will be for this text. The second one will be for this text. And we'll also start connecting this up. So we'll say if the player is local, we're going to want to get our wood. First we'll get how much wood we have in our box. Let's drag it. All I did was clone it and drag it up. Again, you could link it, but this is how I'm doing it just for illustrative purposes. Okay, we'll want to get the inventory and link that to our wood. And when we get the wood amount, we're going to set these text values. And to figure out how much wood we have, the amount of wood we have in the box, we'll want that to link to our first toString. The second amount, which is how many sticks we have, will be our total count of wood, and that I'll just link to our other toStrings. So now if I save the room and come back, I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so we're loading back into the game, and you'll see that we have 0 over here and we have 5 over here, so it kept track of the stick and the wood that we had. And if I go to this room, again I have 0 of the wood, and over here in the box I still have 5. Okay, there's one last thing I forgot to do. Every time we transfer our wood to the box, the number over here should change, because we're not going to have as many wood as we had because it's in the box. So after we set the text over here, we'll also want to run the item get count and update this text. Let's see if that works. We'll go ahead, and yes, this is the hardest game I know ever. So now we have 4. When I go over here, should be 9. This goes back to 0. If you did like this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe on my YouTube channel, as well as the support button in Rec Room, or just use code CalmBee. And let me know if there's any other tutorials you'd like to see in the future. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one.